I bring you a game that I've just played on Lichess, of course, and I hope you enjoy this game. It's quite exciting. It's quite a challenge for me, this game, and so that's why I bring it here to this YouTube chess channel that I operate here for you, and I also enjoy it too, so don't get me wrong there. And now I've got to make sure that everything's out of the way. I think it is. So here we go. Let's go. I might take Tigger off. Okay. I might just remove Tigger, and I will not remove the graphic of the chess piece because of one reason. All the chess pieces taken at South City Centre. I will not do that because then you can see the score, and I don't want you to. Okay. So what do you reckon? Here we go. This is this game that I've just played, and it finished. I finished this game about 10 minutes ago or something like that, without detail, of course. So I've got points that I'm going to just bring to your attention. Bishop e7, castling, and now came queen e2. Now there's a couple of moves here. I play a wee sneaky move, but there's a couple of moves here. One is I move this bishop out the way, okay, because obviously the queen is attacking it. Two is I move my rook to e8, thereby sort of like prevented of capturing my bishop on e7 by rook takes queen. But I came up with a different one, a little bit sort of like make it look like I am making a mistake, because I have lost a game out of these 5 games or so I just played. I did all right because I stopped playing after a few games, but I basically won them all except for one, and that wasn't this one. This is the last game I played, knight e4, and so thank you that I've got a nice game to show you. I think it's a nice game. d3, of course. Now this looks like I'm just made a mistake, but I go knight c5, whereas I'm now attacking this bishop on a4. So I did a pre-move of queen takes bishop. I mean queen takes queen, and then I'd be going knight a4 after rook e7. See? So here comes bishop c2. So you might think, well, what was the point of all that? Because I just moved my bishop to d6 anyway. d4, well, fair enough. d4, but I want to go into the square. And here comes knight d2. So what's David's move? What's David's move? What do you think David played in this 3-minute game, this rated 3-minute game on Lichess? What do you think he played now? It's not spectacular. It's just like the other time. It's queen h4, but of course, and I threaten just queen h2 check and queen h1 checkmate. And guess what? Sometimes I miss it. Sometimes I actually miss it. And so here's like the analysis the other day of the game was not great. And so here's h3, a wee bit of a surprise h3. So I did think it was a bit of a I think it's a wee bit of a mistake. I think g3 is just a bit more solid. But anyway, my opponent played h3. So knight f6, with, as I said last time, with no particular intent whatsoever. But if I look at it now, I think, well, knight h5 looks quite inviting and all that sort of stuff. But hang on, because things get a little bit sort of like, what's happening now? So bishop e3. Now, by now, you should know that you would have seen that there's a wee threat here but it's not actually a real threat if I look at it now without time pressure. White threatens knight e4, queen e4, but I have, after the game, realised that queen f2 is check, okay? And king is only h1 move, and then we have queen f1 check, rook takes queen, and rook takes f1 checkmate. So actually, white isn't threatening knight e4, in other words, because it gets checkmated. But I played king h8 anyway, and it's a move I like to play because it just gets my king off this diagonal, which is often in this setup from mine or whoever's, Hallier's or whatever they're called, is a problem for black. So here's f3. Okay. And I was a bit cheeky here. So what do you think I played now? As I played the following move. And it's not really neither here nor there, but it's just a little bit provocative as queen g3. And here if fe4 now, okay, then I would merely play queen here check. And if the king goes here, I can go queen here check, and king f2 and knight g4, and I'll have a look at what's going on after that. I'm not sure. Looks pretty good though. It looks like knight g4 is checkmate, eh? Does it look like knight g4 is checkmate? So if king f2, instead, after queen h2, if fe4, queen h2, king f2, guess what? We have the same thing again. We have knight g4 checkmate. There's nothing that can be done, even though the pieces can be taken, the knight can be taken. It's double check with the rook on the f8 as well. See? So it's pretty cool, eh? So here comes knight f1. My opponent knew. Good on my opponent. Well done. My opponent is 1872. But, you know, where do you put your queen now? Because obviously I'm being threatened with my queen. I actually considered this move, but I don't think it's a very good road for me to take, as that move there. It might be okay, but I just think that white's going to do okay out of that. Knight g3 takes the queen, and knight takes pawn on e2, as I've demonstrated. So here we go. Where do I move my queen back? There's a few spaces available. There were some mad spots on the board, but I went queen g6. So I'm looking at this important pawn, by the way, which is in white's camp, isn't it? This pawn here. Okay, so I'm looking at this pawn, and I don't really, and also I don't have to worry about pawn takes pawn and queen takes pawn or something like that. You know, like pawn takes pawn, knight takes, queen takes, which is possible if the king's on g8. So here's fe4. So that said, I played knight e4. And I'm being a wee bit naughty because this bishop is still sitting at home, isn't it? This rook's developed, this queen's developed, bishop, knight are developed, and this has been moved a number of times, and so is this queen. But I'm being a wee bit naughty, but I am actually threatening to develop with a threat of bishop h3 capture. So here's bishop c2, and so of course I'm going to take that. Okay, and now I've developed. Now I've developed. Now I've truly, truly, truly developed. So we have bishop e4, d-e4, queen e4. Your move, what would you play now? First exercise. Haven't got any coffee in the cup. Oh dear. Because I've run out of milk under lockdown 4. I don't dare go to the shop because of all the things I've heard. There's probably nothing wrong with going to the shop. No, probably isn't. So, if you want a clue, I'm going to give you a clue. And I'm not going to say that it's the best move on the planet. It might not be. But the move that I play removes one of White's important defenders. So that's a big clue. One of White's main defenders is the rook and the queen and the knight and the bishop. So along comes the rook takes knight and check. Excuse me, I'm going to sneeze. I'm trying to sneeze. Is it not the order of frustration if you can't sneeze, if you need to sneeze and you can't? I used to call it the first thing of frustration, not being able to sneeze. White, of course, played king f1 because this is the reason I'm bringing this game to you. White played king f1 because, of course, rook f1 is no good because of queen takes queen, check. Not check, but nearly check. So that's no good. And then black will play on for another day, or have another day in this great game of chess that we all adore and love. I hope you do, because I mean, like, excuse me. So king f1. So of course the next move, excuse me again, the next move is easy to see because it's bringing one of the troops into the fire. It feels like fire. Rook f8 check. So upon king g1, what's your next move? There might be some good moves here, actually. I've now just noticed a move for black here that looks pretty damaging to white. It's not rook f1 check after king g1, as then my opponent will just take the rook with the king and laugh at me. But there's a move here that I think is probably better than the move I played. It's very decisive. And the move is queen to g3 after king g1, which threatens just queen h2 checkmate. And if bishop f4, then just bishop f4 or similar. Maybe even just rook f4, queen e8, rook f8, etc. And then the queen can take the choice between capturing the rook on f8 or being checkmated on h2, as long as black is met with cooperation. My next move was bishop f5. But I think that queen g3 is looking quite powerful. I think or hope you might concur with that. So here's bishop f5, queen f3. Now, what? Now what? See, the thing is white's protecting these entry squares for my queen that wants to go to one of these squares here. See? So white's doing quite well to stop me from doing that. Now, shall I move bishop g4 and then queen h5? Maybe. And it feels like I'm sort of repeating moves. So, what do you think? What do you think I should do here for black? Because also, look at these bishops. Look at these bishops. Look at these bishops. Boom, boom. You know, this bishop is very strong with the queen behind it. So the next move I played is bishop d3. Now this is, of course, just attacking the queen. So white now plays queen h3. Now what? The following move, I hope you saw this, but I think it's quite a feisty move. It's quite energetic. Is bishop d6 to g3. Now, no good, of course, is rook to e6, threatening my queen. Why? And equally so, no good is queen e6 to defend the rook on e1 because of what? If rook e6, then rook to f1 is checkmate. If queen e6, then again, can black make a choice between queen takes rook? I lost the plot there a little bit. So I think I said if queen e6, then can black play rook f1 check? Rook takes rook forced, queen takes queen. No, because then white is out of the woods with rook f8, queen e6 to g8 to defend. That's my queen, not white's queen, because it's off the board. Rook g8, king g8, and then maybe something like bishop e3 or something like that, where white's winning. As I've given too much material away. So bishop g3 was quite good. So here, I think, but the computer might disagree. Now here comes bishop d2. Okay, so it's your move. This might be getting into a easy position to find the next move, although I'm not happy with white's next move. So it's this move sort of spoils this whole thing, this whole interesting game with one move. Is now I play bishop f5. This sort of annoys the queen, but it's not exactly unable to move. It can move to still h1, which I don't think that white said they want to play that move, but it might be the best one to play. Can I find any tactic here, David? Or can you find any tactic here? I I don't see anything except for returning my bishop to d3 or something. So here comes queen f5. This sort of disturbs the game a little bit. Check. And my opponent resigned. That's all. I hope you enjoyed that game. Little bit, with a little luck, we can work it out. That's Paul McCartney, by the way, not David Weegenaar. Bye for now.